hopefully it's a really helpful time for you to get to know a little bit about what kindergarten is going to be like and school start, and also get to know a few familiar faces. Hopefully that helps you connect to the community and to the staff of school. I'd like to pray for us as we kick off. Please join with me. Dear Lord God and Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can come together today. We especially thank you that we can do this live, face to face. And Lord, we just pray that it's a useful, valuable time for parents of students starting kindergarten next year. With us we pray in your Son's name. Amen. Kindy orientation, it's been a bit different, but it's been good that we can continue with a path to help these young people settle into school and be ready for next year and that start. Do you know that this class cohort will be the class of 2034? That's when they'll finish school, 2034. It makes me feel old, I can tell you. They actually might outlive me at school. Pretty amazing, isn't it? 2034. It's also amazing to notice people who are here as parents who I taught at Scone Grammar School many years ago. 1990, Scone Grammar School started in the form it is now, and so it's been running for 32 years. So that's quite a nice bit of history. The school is a Christian school. Its foundation has always been that, and it remains that. And that really is a part that should be informing all that we do as a school as your children move through school. Hope that they will too. Not in a form where we're trying to force that down anyone's throat, but hopefully teach plainly and help kids grow up to make up their own minds about what their faith is, what they believe. Kindergarten is a significant foundation for school. Very special time, particularly for those foundations of early literacy and early numeracy. Things that they will build on continually as they move through school. We teach this explicitly because we know they need that. Very clear, explicit instruction as part of what they do in kindergarten. But also we believe that they need to be able to be engaged in that learning and drive some of it from their own self, from their own interests, from their own passions. And so we do, people don't like the term, but I love it, play-based learning as well, because it actually does engage young people from where their passions and interests lie, and helps them use that foundation to grow. Right from the beginning of their school experience, we want to engage young people in learning how to be a really good learner. We call this Grammar Minds at Scone Grammar School. It's actually about what are those absolutely core skills that you need to be a really good learner. 17 dispositions of learning, and they will become part of everything that these young people do across their time. And I hope it's something that you will understand and know as families clearly in your homes, so that they can actually be able to be the best learner that they can be right across their schooling. As well as that particular focus, one of the other things we really want to help young people get is a sense of themselves. Really clearly know and understand themselves well. So we engage in strengths. What are their strengths? And we talk about character strengths, but also what are the things they just are good at or are really interested in or passionate about. We think that's really critical to help a young person fully grow and develop. I hope you find today really valuable and helpful in understanding Scone Grammar School, understanding what kindergarten particularly is going to be like, and that you actually are able to feel a sense of the people who'll be there to help you stay connected to that learning journey right through your time. If we achieve those things, then that'll be fantastic today. So thanks very much for joining us. Thank you very much for the privilege of educating and caring for your young people. That's very special to us. I'm going to introduce a few members of the team to you before I hand over to Damien, who's going to share a bit more about school with you. Admin team coming. Grounds. So you will all met and engaged lots with Mrs. Amanda Darling, who is our registrar. So I'm sure you'll know Amanda. Next is my PA, Sarah Ambry. Darren Crowther is our operations manager. Works grounds maintenance, all those sorts of things. Soon driving buses, jack of all trades. And Toby Comicelli is part of our student services team. My wife Julie works with Toby in student services as well, not here working today. So Toby and Julie are the connected face that students mostly engage with. And if you need to pick them up because they're not well, you'll go to the caring student services team to pick them up, or if you need to drop them off late, they'll be the face in suit. Thank you very much, team. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. I'm going to hand over to Damien.
And I'm usually behind the scenes, but I thought I'd have fun.
Louisa Brain is our marketing director of that area of school life, sharing a lot of that journey and story with everybody, not just families, but the wider community. Did a fantastic job, so thanks, Louisa. Now I'm going to hand over to Damien Saunders. Have a lovely time with the group.
Thanks, Paul. Morning, everybody. As Paul mentioned, I'm head of primary here at Scone Grammar, something I'm pretty proud of. But probably my biggest role in the eyes of kindergarten is I am currently the kindergarten Christian studies teacher. Organised chaos at its finest. And what I don't know, I make up to be prepared for that when they come and ask you the big questions that I can't quite answer properly. But with that in mind, I just wanted to reflect on what our school motto is, which actually does come from the Bible. It comes from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 2, and says, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Now, what I like to try and do with the Bible passage is try and break it down and put it into layman's terms, so I can best explain that to the students as well. And this isn't a bad verse at all. I try and link it back to the school environment. And I sort of interpret it that the race that they talk about with this is that 13-year journey, that 13-year race that your little ones are about to embark on. Now, also the opportunities that come with that journey as well. An education here at school certainly is not confined to the four walls of the classroom. It's a stage, it's a sporting field, an ag plot, a science lab, a playground, the Band-Aid station up at student services, or a community visit. It's about making a difference to those around you, absorbing the wealth of knowledge that will be imparted onto them, developing friendships and having that lifelong love of learning. It's also about servant leadership. What can I do to make things better for somebody else? If we can start to instill a few of those qualities into them at that young age, we're setting them up for life, we really are. We inherit fantastic kids here at Scone Grammar School. No parent has told me any different. And I'd like to think that here at SGS these kids have a chance to really take it to that next level. And I think this is what excites me, because in 63 sleeps, an incredible journey begins. Now it may seem a little way off yet, but it'll roll around pretty quick. And as a school, it doesn't stop, it doesn't slow down at all, even once they start. And we sort of understand the importance of keeping up with the pace of an ever-changing society, preparing our students to be adaptable, preparing them to be adaptable learners, and preparing them for jobs that probably don't even exist yet. It's a challenge that's acknowledged with a constantly changing school curriculum. I'm very proud of this school. I actually came here for high school myself, and after some initial kicking and screaming at home when I was first told that, I was quickly fell in love with the place. It's got a sense of community here that I feel is pretty unrivaled. It's been hard to tap into that the last little while with the way of the world, but I'm very excited that there'll be a sense of normality in school community for us next year. The care that the teachers have for our students, the way our parents embrace the opportunities to get in, get involved, be a part of it all, incidental conversations we have, it's all genuine, it's all very real. And I guess the best example I can think of is our school fete, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's a pretty amazing spectacle. At around 3 o'clock on the Friday before the fete, we're a normal school still. Between the hours of 3 and about 6 o'clock, this place transforms into something completely different. It's what you see is, you see the parents just getting in, rolling up their sleeves to set this place up for their kids. So their kids can be proud of their school in that bigger picture. Seeing parents carrying hay bales, setting up stalls, carrying jars of lollies, hanging up bunting, just because they want to contribute as well. And I guess this is my encouragement to you as parents, get involved. It's a very exciting chapter in your life. It's a very exciting chapter in your child's life, absolutely. So my encouragement is to embrace it, get involved, and just love the journey with your kids, because they'll be right into it, and you'll see that, and I just encourage you to be a part of that as well. It's now my pleasure to introduce Charlotte Parry-Oakton. Charlotte is the president of our school PNF, and I think she wants to speak to you further about what's involved with the PNF, and also just some opportunities for you as parents to really embrace the school and how you can be a part of it as well. So I'll hand over to Charlotte.
Hi everyone. This is exciting to be here in person. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been at school doing anything except quickly ducking in and out, trying to just not get caught without my mask or something. So this is very nice to all be here together. As Damien said, I've got a daughter in kindergarten right now, one in year 2 and one in year 4. And it's really nice to be involved with the school. And the Parents and Friends group is one way to be involved. What is the Parents and Friends group here? Our number one goal is to build connections between parents and the school. And how we do that is a lot of times is through fundraising. But our overall is to make a positive impact for the school in everything that we can do together. And there's so many different ways that we can make a positive impact, from large things to small things. And it's a great way to be involved in as much or as little as you'd like to be. So the Parents and Friends group meets once a month on a Tuesday, usually at 6 o'clock at night. Our goal is to meet for 1 hour only. If you are a paying member for $10, you can have voting rights, and you also get the minutes sent to you, but you can also just come and sit along and listen to the meetings. In the meetings, we discuss all different things happening at school that are happening now. We get a report from the principal, which is really always interesting to hear, like an inside view of what's happening at school. And then parents sit around and we talk about different areas where we can help. I like to think that we like to align with the school's value and go with what the values already in the direction. It's like low-hanging fruit. So things that are already happening at school, where can we add value? What can we do that's already happening? How can we make something that's happening better? And those ideas are always open to new ideas and trying to find new ways that we can maybe do something to help. An example is that the school just did a massive fundraising effort for the Westpac helicopter. They were funded all across from Yellow Cottage all the way through teachers, and the PNF was able to support that by also donating another $1,000 to that, to make that a really huge donation that we were able as a whole school to give. So that was something that was sort of easy for us to do and yet make it more impactful for the school. What else? This year was a bit of a different year because of COVID, but still, despite having all the setbacks and challenges that COVID brought up, We ran a successful fete, so the PNF is in charge of running the fete. That is our major fundraiser for the school year. We have raised anywhere from $5,000 to $45,000 in a year. We like to use that money that we raise in the PNF to go straight back into the school. So we're not trying to hold on to lots and lots of money and wait for big, huge, massive projects, but we try and get the money straight back into the school. We've done in the past, the Ninja Warrior course out there, the PNF's paid for that. We've done upgrades to the playground. We've added, we made a cookbook to raise some money. We've done all sorts of various things in other years. We've paid for coffee carts and afternoon tea for the staff during COVID that were here working tirelessly while we were on the other end on Zoom calls and Teams. We've purchased end of school year gifts for year 6 and year 12. We've successfully received grants for new playground art, which are going to be implemented over Christmas for next year. In past years, we've run color fun runs. We had a golf day on the cards, but that hasn't happened yet. We've done some Mother's Day and Father's Day stalls. So there's as you can see, there's so many different areas that the PNF can make an impact. And if you just want to come and listen and learn at the meetings, or if you think there's an area where you can help, or you want to put your hand up sometimes, or you're too busy others, it's fine. It's there for anything. If you have any issues that you want to talk about, that's kind of what the PNF is about. And I just hope that we can continue to try and look at schools, see what's happening, and how can we positively help make an impact for our kids and support the school's initiatives. One other area that the PNF is in charge of is something called the CLP, which is a Class Liaison Parent. We, as a group, the PNF organizes a head sort of class mom or dad of each class. This is just another little connection that that you have with more parents and with the school. You're kind of a link. So maybe you don't feel like texting your teacher at 8 o'clock at night because you're trying to figure out what uniform is tomorrow, but you can send a quick text to your CLP. Your CLP might remind you of a couple events coming up because there's a gold coin donation for this, and there's an out of uniform day, wacky hair day, and it's a crazy week. So your CLP might send an email to the class with some of those things. CLPs also have tried to organize some social gatherings to get together without kids or with kids at parks, or also just maybe a nice lunch, just to make that connection, because a lot of the kindergarten moms and dads that we met in kindergarten are my friends now. We've come through this together, and it's a really nice time to be sort of in it. You already have something in common. Everyone has a kid in kindergarten, so it's a great spot. So stay tuned, because if someone asks if you're interested in being a CLP, Class Liaison Parent, that's what that stands for. And it's really easy. As a parent, the PNF, we send out emails to the CLPs to say, can you just, zip this out to your group. It's not hard. It's just a couple emails here and there, but it's just you're kind of like the go-to person. And the CLPs really helped keep us connected during lockdown, whether they just reminded us what was happening or offered a joke, or just kept us connected. It was a really nice time because we couldn't meet in person, that the CLPs were still there with the classes trying to help keep things connected. In kindergarten, there is a lot of questions. I was a CLP in kindergarten, and even if you don't know, you can find out the answer, like, what do we do here? What is the swim carnival? I don't even know. So there's just things that you might not know yet if you haven't had a sibling or you're not familiar, that the CLP can be really handy. And I think that's basically it. The Parents and Friends group also runs the uniform shop. Belinda Souter and Erin Day are in the uniform shop, and it's really nice because we use that money to help also support some of the events that we can do for the school. And we've just had a huge refurbishment of the uniform shop. It's been painted inside and out. We've just kind of fixed it up and spruced it up while we were in lockdown, which was really great. It's looking nice down there, and I'm sure everyone's going to have to visit the uniform shop at some point to get kitted out. And maybe we will do the uniforms now. Is that okay? Anyway, if you have any questions about how you can get involved, or from big things to little things, please feel free to reach out to me. Your school has my information, and I'd love to be able to help. So we have some current kindergarten students as our models. The first one, this is.
Hey guys, I'm Belinda. I'm one of the workshop coordinators. I'm here today
Can you guys see these guys? If you're going to have them stand up on a chair or anything, or a bench, can you see them? You want to stand up? We did it. Okay.
You want to bring them over and stand on the bench?
Or you stand over here.
Come over.
We have Felix. Felix is wearing the boys' summer uniform, which is khaki shorts, khaki shirt, a tie, which you may need more than one of because they will lose them, a hat, which I also recommend you buy two, and khaki socks.
But is there still two options of ties?
There's a loop one, elastic tie.
This has got the fake tie, and there's also the real tie.
Really.
Some kids pull this all day, and it's annoying. So you might need to. I had to learn how to tie. Another great thing that we can use is to get your name on the back of the hat. This has been embroidered. Ferrums do a great job, or just anywhere, but every kid has the same hat. So it's really handy just to get that put on your hat. What else do we have?
And some kids just do initials, like
Or just initial, yeah, some sort of recognition is helpful. Velcro shoes are acceptable. Velcro shoes for kindergarten are acceptable for both boys and girls. We'll see some of those over here. That's pretty much. Do you have anything to add, Felix? No?
Thank you very much, Sophia. Thank you. Next we have Piper. So Piper is wearing the girls' summer uniform, which is a dress, navy blue socks, and the option of a woolen jumper or the soft shell jacket, which I'll show you on Edie.
Now, what else do we have?
So girls can wear plain hairbands, they can wear navy blue, white or gold ribbons in their hair. The hair needs to be tied up off their collar if it reaches their collar length.
That looks really nice. You just got this little dress on under here. You're nice and warm today. That was very smart thinking. Also has a label on the back of her hat. Good girl.
Next Piper.
The
Next
skirt length is sort of knee-ish length.
Right. Next we have Edie, and Edie's wearing a sports uniform which is unisex. So they have a polo shirt, they can wear these soft kind of shorts, or they can wear rugby style shorts. With their, on a cooler day they can wear their soft shell jacket, which they can wear all year round with their summer knee-tuck and sports uniform. Or they can wear a tracksuit jacket, jumper, and tracksuit pants.
There's little.
And an SGS sports socks, which we can't really see, but and they have a cap for sport day, or they can wear their hat. It's just preference on the parent and the child.
I would say almost every kid prefers this hat for sports.
Yeah, most do.
And again, label, very handy. My kids love this jacket. It is soft, it's comfy, it's sort of half waterproofy. Like, they just love this. They think the sweaters are beachy. They're not.
They tell you they are.
They tell you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Edie. Next is Teddy.
Teddy. Nice. Teddy is modeling the Velcro option as well. You need?
So boys is long sleeve shirt, long trousers, the same tie, and jacket or jumper, depending on the weather. Take it down. Thanks, Teddy.
Teddy, awesome.
And last but not least, we have the vest option as well. Oh, you can do a vest, yeah. Come on.
There's also a vest that looks just like Little Piper's jumper, but it's a little vest option. But there is certain things that are required for formal wear and photo day, which is a sweater,
A jumper, yeah.
but not the vest.
Not the
The
vest.
vest is sort of an optional, so if you don't really need both, unless, I wouldn't say as many kids these days wear the vest, but some do, but a jumper is sometimes required if you're on the fence about what to purchase.
All right, we have, I'll leave you.
This is Lizzie, this is my daughter. She's wearing the girls' winter outfit, which is a long sleeve blouse, this little pinafore, and she's got her tall socks on, but you also can wear navy blue stockings as well. Same shoes and same hat. Lizzie's got, if you want to turn around, she's got the bow in. You can wear dark clips if you need. There's a yellow bow and a white bow, I think, as well. And they're all at the uniform shop if you feel like it. Do we forget anything? Lizzie's got her name. There's the backpack. Well,
Backpack, I have backpacks on.
These are a bit long. Sit down. Come here, girl. Quantities, Belinda would know more about exact how many of each you need. So the kindergartens now will have 2 days of sport.
One parent will go two summer uniforms and 1 sport uniform. Some go more, some go less. It depends on how you work your household, and if you find out you may be involved every day of the week.
Like ironing.
Yeah.
But in general, usually 1 sports uniform works, even if they have it for the 2 days. That's super easy to wash, no ironing involved. And then, 2 or 3, depending of the other uniforms, is usually pretty handy. You can start out with some and add a little bit. Get a bunch of socks, and that kind of stuff is always seemed to go wandering. I have one spare hat that I kind of rotate between the kids if they lose one, need one.
So coffee this morning, the most common question I was asked was about backpacks. So we have 2 sizes that we offer for kindergarten, which is small and medium. This depends on how big your child is. As a gauge for these, my child who was in year 6 last year went from kinder to year 6 with her small backpack. So if you want, you can go a medium one if you feel you need to go a bit bigger, but they're both it's a bit bigger, but there's still plenty of room in your small one. It just depends on what your preference is.
Personally, our kids all have mine have all started with just the bigger one. It's not much of a difference in there. Again, the backpacks are also handy to get a name just on the outside. It's just easy when all these bags are lined up. As you can see behind you, they just get like lined up and they're all the same. So anyway, even like a cute little, you can allow to put a little keychain or something on there with a color. Lizzie's I think has a L and something bright, so you can see it on a cute little keychain. I think is that it for is there any questions about the uniform?
If you have any questions, feel free to email or ring. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
You can also order online.
You can
You can order online if you like. Yep. Once your child's at school, it's really handy because you order online, it gets brought to the kid at school and brought home, which is really easy if you need to do it that way. Otherwise, you can pop down to the uniform shop. The kids can even pop down too, and Belinda can send out an invoice if they forget their hat or something like urgent. Usually there's spares, but for some reason, if they have to must purchase something, Belinda can always invoice you if they don't have money on the spot. And was there the only other swimmers? Is that?
Swimmers, plain navy will suffice for kindy. If you want, you can buy school swimmers. There is swimmers available for purchase. But if you have plain navy blue swimmers, they will be fine for me.
They will not need those. Well, they don't actually need them for kindies fun swim and stuff. Yeah, do they? They might not need. Sorry, that was my fault. I'm thinking out loud. But there is swimmers. Eventually, down the road, there will be there's swimmers for sale. So for those things.
Thanks, guys. Everyone take a bow for me. Thank you very much.
You can go change now too.
Why don't you get Penny's job up on?
Thanks, Charlotte and Belle and our little models. I'd now like to ask Annie Chesworth to come and speak to you. Annie's a current kindergarten parent, mother of our model Ted, and she just wants to speak to you a bit about how things look through the eyes of a kindergarten parent. So Annie, if you'd like to come forward.
I'm not as prepared and organised as everyone. I don't have a speech written because that's just how my life is, hectic and busy, which is actually such a credit to the school of how easy this year has been for us. The whole community behind it, the ease of all the amazing things that the school has in place, like diaries, communication diaries that gets them home with your kids. There's an amazing app which you can send messages to the teacher, which just makes everything so nice and easy. And I do really think that is a credit for sending your first child, or well, you know, a lot of you it's not your first, but for your first child to be starting school can be daunting. I don't need to give you a brag about how great the school is because you're already here, so you've already decided that this is the school for your child. But I might be able to tell you a few little bits about the ease of transition that you'll find coming next year, so that your little one can be nice and happy for when they come and start school. Something that Mr. Smart said this time last year, and he didn't say it today, which means I can now steal it, was that it's such an important thing for our children to want to love to come to school, to be happy to come to school. And that's what I really wanted in kindergarten, for my kid to want to come to school every day, because they've got to come for 13 years, and that's a long time, and that's a lot of mornings if you've got a kid going, I don't want to go to school today. And I can safely say that Teddy has not said that once. How many days? 10 days left of school? And he has never said to me, I don't want to go to school today. And for us, that was just such a big relief that he was happy to come, he's happy to learn, he's got friends, and the community is just amazing. You would have already seen, I'm sure your kids are all with the buddies today, and that is such a great system that they just make this great relationship. And I believe Teddy's they're with their buddies today as well. He was excited to come for buddy play they were going to do today. So just having a happy child has just been our, you know, amazing moment. That's what we wanted and that's what we got. So we are certainly very happy with that. The other thing I did sort of touch on is the app that is so fantastic that I'm sure the teachers will talk to you about it, but being able to send a message, I had to send Mrs. Jones a message last week to say, just a heads up, Teddy's emotional and cranky this morning, good luck with him. And she replied, I don't know what you mean, he was fine. And he didn't know what I was talking about when he said he was grumpy this morning. So just that little relief that I can feel, I can, you know, send that message, not make a big deal about it to ring the school, but you can communicate and have such a good relationship that nothing is a big deal. It's just, even though, you know, we've had lockdowns this year, I get busier through lockdown, so Teddy came to school through that time, but I know hopefully there's no lockdowns next year, but the school did so well to manage all of that with booklets and including the students, and Ted still loved coming, which is great. And actually, just quickly, the other amazing thing that I found is not only the small classes, which are fantastic, but the shared learning throughout the classes, that all the kindy teachers know all the kindy students, and they all spend time together in different rooms, and they go to the French and have the French teacher, and they've got a singing teacher. So it's not just, I'm sure when I was in kindergarten, like the only teacher I probably knew at school was my teacher in my room with desks and chairs. These guys have an activity hub, and they get to spend time with so many different teachers, which means that he's just so excited that each day is different. Today we're doing French. He loves singing, loves singing. And he loves going to chapel. So it's really good that they've got that, you know, that diversity and that they see that change. Every day is different and fun and happy days, which is all we want. His worry now is starting year 1 because he's got to write 5 sentences. He's worried he won't make it to year 1. He's got to do 5 sentences. Is that all good?
That's lovely.
If anything you need, there's so many people that can help you and answer. Charlotte she just knows everything. So if you want to know things, ask her, not me. I just know that everyone's happy, and I'm so happy to be here with the school, and the community is great. And I hope you all have a great start to the next year.
Thanks, Annie. One thing I'm excited about next year is the fact we've got 3 classes. Small class sizes, which just helps the students start their school journey incredibly well. I'd like to introduce our kindergarten teachers for next year. I think they're going to be a wonderful team. So I'd just like to ask Julie Jones is just Southwell and Miss Hazel Grove to come forward and speak to you a bit more information.
So your children are over there having a ball with their buddies. We haven't had any tears, they've all dried up and they're just having a fantastic time, which is great. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen in week 1. Week 1 next year is tricky because we start on a Thursday, but it's a blessing in disguise. First day is a staggered start. So Amanda will be in touch with you and you'll pick a time to bring your child in. This sort of helps them not to be so afraid of the playground to begin with because there's so many students in the playground. They'll come in between 9:30 and 10:30 and then they'll spend recess with their buddy. So the whole day they'll be in and out with their buddy and with us as well. Your child will need their bag, their hat, lunchbox, drink bottle and fruit break. So fruit break we always have during the day because they can't get by without it. And it's just a little container of fruit, a banana, an apple, whatever you like. It doesn't need to be a great big meal, just something, a little snack. Please don't pack too much food, especially at lunchtime and things like that. We find it's a really important time for them to socialise, and often you'll find they'll come home and the lunchbox is still full. We do try and encourage them to eat, but there are times when they won't. On Friday we're going to have an early pick-up time. It'll be 2:30 and we'll probably meet underneath the big tree. That's where we always meet for pick-up, just to separate them from the rest of the kids to begin with. It helps to, they just don't feel so inundated with all the other students. In week 2 we're going to do an early pick-up on the Friday and it'll be lunch time, because what we find that first full week of school they are busted. So are we. But they particularly are busted. So 12:30 we'll tell you all about this again in a way. Something that I want to talk to you about is we've brought this in the last couple of years is our investigation sessions. So we're committed to play-based learning within our kindergarten classrooms because we believe that children, especially young children, learn through play. And so we have 3 sessions a week where we will have a double period where students will investigate things using sensory, tinkering, construction, dramatic play, collage, literacy, reading, numeracy, science and writing. And these sessions are so valuable for your children because they help them get to know the other children in their class. They use their speaking and listening skills, they use empathy, sharing. It helps to develop curiosity and a love of learning, and it encourages them to become a part of the teaching and learning process because we ask them to tell us what they want to investigate. At times, some of what they're exploring is what they're learning in numeracy or literacy, but it gives them the opportunity to further develop and practice these areas. It's a really important part of our learning process. We use play throughout a lot of our subject areas.
Beginning of kindy, it's exciting times and it is also very refreshing for us as teachers as well. I'm going to be speaking to you about things that can help your day go a little bit easier. The first thing, and I'd like to say thank you so much for sharing our wonderful uniform with us, because it is who we are, it's part of our identity. Please label them. Label them with the names, pop them on the bags and even all their belongings. It's important for your children to know what belongs to them, especially when they come to school and they see a sea of people that look exactly the same as them. They pick up a hat, they'll pick up anybody's hat. But if they know that their name is on there, that's theirs, and they'll be able to grow in independence and look after their things. Also label their lunch containers, because they do like to rush through their lunch, and we often find little boxes and tubs all over the place. And we go, who does this belong to? And it's like, nobody, but everybody at the same time. So if you could please just pop their name on, it will be wonderful. We'd appreciate it that they do, because it gives them ownership. Drink bottles as well. We have so many wonderful drink bottles available to us now, but think of them opening and closing them, popping them in the bag very nice to come home with a bag that's flooded. So get a drink bottle that they can manage. Beautiful pop top, something that they can manage well. So that's the food and things. Making connections for you, as has been shared as well, is huge. If you feel connected and settled, your children will feel connected and settled as well. So if you could take the time, and I guess also we speak of play days for the children, but it's also great for you to have those days to make connections with each other, so that you together will form a group of people that you will walk with throughout the school journey. Play dates. Oh, if you're going to be late, like was also mentioned, please send us a quick message and let the ladies know in the office. Send them a quick message via student services so that we can be on the lookout if you're going to be a little bit late, or if you've had a bumpy night. We'd love to know that. It helps us be prepared to welcome your children, and also to have a space ready for them to come into that learning environment, calm and gentle. Please keep us also informed of wonderful events that happen in your life, because we like to share them as well. Birthdays, grandparents, fancy holidays or anything like that. It's a huge part of their life. So if you could also just let us know, then we could also be prepared to share that with the class and celebrate along with you. Along with it, we do find comes the tiredness of celebrations, so we are also prepared to support your children. Drop off. If you could be at school just a little bit earlier, talk to your children about what the day is going to be like. Help them move from being with you into being at school. It is new for them, and that first week is exhausting as they settle into a routine. Glenn Cooper came up with a wonderful metaphor that I'd like to leave you with as I speak. It's called about two rowboats, and it just explains what it's like, that drop-off time. And I'll read it for you. It says, imagine two little rowboats coming up next to each other, and the child steps out of the parent's rowboat and needs to step into the teacher's rowboat. The problem for the children is there's a moment when the rowboats are a little bit wobbly, and they have to have a foot in each of the boats. And if the boat drifts apart, they get stuck. Or when the children come in and they're not quite sure whether they are in the school's boat or if they're in the home boat, they get a little stuck. The morning transition is a way to help them make that step from one boat to the next. What we want is for the children to know that both you and us are in charge, and we're going to take care of them. The children will have what they need, and they will feel that it's okay. They don't have to act like they're okay when they're not. It's all right to be sad. It's all right to be worried, and we will support them move through that emotion and let them know you will be coming back, and we will be handing you over safely. We would like the children to experience that it's a clear partnership between us, and where the child goes from feeling secure to feeling secure, then it makes a space that is open and also creates a space that's seamless and learning can happen. So when your children are feeling a little anxious, learning stops until they feel safe. So we're looking forward to starting the year with you, and also having that beautiful space where we can welcome you and your children every morning, and then share with you what days they've had. Thank you.
Alright, so I thought I would share a rough day of what kindergarten would look like. Obviously every day is different, but most days obviously start with you dropping your child off at school. Like Hazel said, it's really great if you can get there 15-20 minutes before the bell goes. It gives them a really great chance to settle, find their friends to play with, and it actually makes for a really calm day, rather than getting late, and then, all the hustle and bustle before
classroom, we do roll call, all those sorts of things. And then we start our literacy or our play-based learning session. So they are obviously really core components, literacy especially. This is where us as the kindergarten teachers really want to foster this love of reading, this love of writing, and it is one of the most amazing things seeing your child go from right now not being able to read, write, to at the end of the year where we're now getting page-long texts from your children. They're reading longer stories and they're enjoying it, they're wanting to do it themselves. After recess, we then come in and we have maths. So we use hands-on materials, lots of real-life problems. Once again, trying to promote this love for maths, this love to explore, to be curious, and obviously all in the areas of number, measurement, fractions, the list goes on. And then after lunch, and obviously this is spread out over the week, it differs from day to day, but we have our extracurricular activities, and they're a really important part that separate out your child's day, but also expose them to new subjects that they probably usually wouldn't be exposed to. So obviously creative arts, the dance, music, drama, and the visual arts component. Music is done with Mrs. Tori Saunders, and she's absolutely amazing. Our kids love going there once a week to play instruments, to learn to sing songs, so it's a highlight in their week. We also have crooners, which is our choir. It's actually a really interesting period and subject for us as kindergarten teachers to observe. You'll notice some students that are usually very hesitant to sing, but once they do, it ends up, they all end up showing a lot of teamwork and collaboration, and it actually really unites the year group. We also have library. It's every fortnight, and that's a great opportunity once again to foster this love of reading. The child can go to the library and borrow a book and then return it the following week. We also have sport, health, and we have a time called discovery, and this is our science, geography and history. This is a time, as the name suggests, to discover. We're trying to solve problems such as, make a healthy meal for the canteen. We have a problem that we just solved yesterday actually. Mrs. Jones goes for a walk with her dog, who is a black lab, and so we had to make reflective clothing for her dogs. And we also look at other landmarks around our area, so the Whingin Maid, Burning Mountain, and just look at the significance of these landmarks. The last one is French, and this is, I think it's a really unique part of this school. Not a lot of schools offer a language, and so it's really lovely that your child can go to French, they learn French with Mrs. Wendy Hunt, and they come back and they're saying all different things that I have no idea about, or they know more than me. But no, it's a really great extracurricular activity that your children can be a part of. And obviously, as we said, by the end of the day, your children are exhausted. They'll be lying flat on the floor, as we will be. But they will probably tell you that they've done nothing during the day. I assure you, they have done something. And then obviously, it's pick up and home time, rest, and come back again the next day. Lastly, to finish off, I surveyed my students just last week actually, and I asked them, what would you like kindergarten 2022 to know? Lots of interesting answers, so I thought I might share some of them. So they want them to know to learn lots, it's a nice place to learn, make sure you enjoy school, make sure you grow tall, make sure you teach your dog to fetch and come back. Don't really know the connection there, but anyway. You'll learn about writing, that it's easy and fun, that you can use paint, don't drop rubbish on the ground, you'll get lots of playtime, learn the alphabet, learn numbers, if you're nervous, your friends will make you feel better, making mistakes are great, you get to share about your weekend. I like this one. Someone said to me this morning, I want them to know that they can't crawl under tables. So I felt like I achieved something there. No rubbers, we just cross it out. And the last one, which made us all laugh, was we want kindergarten 2022 to know that it's nearly Christmas. So thank you.
said these kids are going to be exhausted. They're learning and learning. But it's also exciting because there's lots of extracurricular activities available to them now at this age. Gymnastics and touch and all different things. But in the first term, it was really important to try and limit that to either 0 or 1 activity and not pack their afternoons filled with a million things because they're exhausted. And I just remember thinking, you know, there was gymnastics and dance that everyone wanted to do, and that was such a good tip, just at least in the first term, to really think about these kids that are just flat out, and then to go all afternoon. It was a real, I just thought that was, I love that tip. And the other thing about the drop-off is I've had 3 kids, and they were all 3 different. 1 and 3, pretty good at drop-off. 2, horrible. Like, and you had siblings here, right? Ask Jess. I'm peeling off, screaming. I mean, we had the works, everything. And 1 week later, he was totally fine. So don't give up. But one thing I did try is I said after 3 days of screaming and drop off, you know, he was fine. He loved his days. He just had this separation. And I said, your dad's taking you. I'm not taking you. And I just switched it, and it was fine. So like, try different things that drop off, and know it doesn't last long if they're crying. And the teachers were so nice, just would check in with me. 10 minutes later, he's totally fine. You know, but you know, you do get those. You think he's fine. His sisters here. There'd be no problem. It was problematic. And the last thing is that if your children are interested in music, the Upper Hunter Conservatorium of Music teaches on-site at school various different piano, violin, cello, lots of different things that, and they can do classes during school time. So you have to sign up through the Upper Hunter Conservatorium of Music, and I think there's some other people as well that might, I can't remember. But that is just one thing that Mike have done at school. They do piano, and they just come grab them out of class for a half an hour and do that. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check out the website and figure out how to do that. But I never realized that you can do, there is music classes that you can do in school.
I'll ask the teachers to stay here in case you had any questions that you'd like them to answer. Just so you know, some communication you will get between now and the start of school. You will get a list of stationery. You'll get that prior to Christmas. Then in the new year, you'll receive further communication about drop-off times that will be staggered, and then how the pick-up times look as well. So that will be given you in January, and also probably mid-January is when we anticipate we'll get class lists sent out to families as well. So we'll just give your little one a bit of time to wrap their head around who their teacher will be, so they'll sort of know that face to look for when they come in on that first day. So just a few things that you can expect to receive over the holiday break.
I guess what we want you guys to know too is that as the kindy teachers, our doors are always open. So please just message us, come into the classroom. We want you to be involved. There'll be opportunities for parent reading. Hopefully that can go ahead. But we're always here, so please feel free to communicate with us in any way, shape or form.
Fantastic. All right, we might just make our way. Thank you so much for coming in today. Hopefully it hasn't been too much of an information overload, but feel free to reach out to any of us if there are further things that you need to know.